And we're back, with some more oxygen not included. And our base is doing quite well. We have switched over our entire power grid to run on the geothermal. So I've run a big power spine all the way up the centre of the map, and now everything is running off that. There's still some backup stuff running on coal generators, well, running on it, but there's backup coal generators just in case the power should cut it from the geothermal, which shouldn't be happening anytime soon. But now we've got to decide what's their next approach. Now the thing is, I would like to expand out our population. 14 is a bit low. I usually like to go somewhere around 25, 30 duplicants, but that will require us to double our oxygen production. As well as that, we're going to need to increase food production. And I'd like to get into the more late-game foods. So I was thinking the first 3 foods you would go for would be the mushroom wrap, because it gives radiation resistance, which would be nice. Surf and turf, because it also gives radiation resistance. And frostburger, because radiation resistance. So building up all 3 of those would be a good way to start. However, that requires us to make, well, some nasty environments to deal with, and I'd like our duplicants that are farming there to be in atmosuits, which means they're going to have to be on the atmosuit docks, which means I would like to wall in our base. You see, right now, it's sort of walled in all the way down this left side, which is great, but on the right side, there's all this open part, and I'd like to wall it in all the way up through here, and then across the top. And then that would be sort of our core base, and then everything outside of that would be handled by atmosuits. So we need to get rid of this entire liquid tank and move it somewhere more out of the way so that we can build a wall through here. Give me a couple of minutes. And done. That's all of the polluted water moved from this tank to this one. Well, it'll take a second. Oh, and that egg needs to be swept up and dumped in there. We're going to have all the egg movement and polluted water. Everything's going to get moved across there. That should mean we can finally wall in the top of the base, or the side top corner. This was always a temporary fix. This was just so that we could catch that slime biome that was there. Which reminds me, I still have to dig into that slime biome and move all of that polluted water up here as well. We might want to cool it down a bit. That stuff's a little bit warm beside the steam vent. Give us a minute to finish this off. With the water tank out of the way, that just leaves this. I kind of stuck this shovel storage facility onto the... I just tacked it onto the edge of the base. I think we need to move it inside so that it's less of a problem. We want a wall up here. So this thing is just right in the way, and I would like to expand it later and add in more shovels. So let's just move it in here onto the same floor as the incubator section. Right behind the gym, so it's just really awkwardly positioned. It'll be perfect. That clears up this entire right-hand side, so we can start walling that in. Now, we don't need to use insulated tiles everywhere, but I am kind of fond of using them for this, just to keep the temperature in our base fairly stable. Actually, looking temperature-wise, we're actually pretty good. Oh, that giant blob of cooling there is because we've been storing our ice in there. That probably not the smartest use of ice, but it was easy and convenient. Oh, and someone left a comment on one of my old decor videos, and I suddenly realised we haven't been using Annie's Snazzy suits. We've got access to them for ages, and we have not been assigning them out because, well, I've been a muppet. So let's start assigning suits out to people, shall we? No, in a minute. Once we finish walling in the base. Wall in the base first, finish one project first, then we'll move on to the second one of giving the duplicants the proper suits for their personalities. Done. Well, almost. We're going to quickly zip it up here along the side, and then we've got a door here to set to allow people back in, but not out, so that we can bring everyone back inside. Right now, anyone who leaves through these atmosuit docks can only get up as far as here. They can't get to the right. This entire area on the right-hand side is sealed off. The only way in is through our base. So once they... Okay, stop hanging around out here, guys. Can't you just go... You are able to get back in, right? I'm not being crazy. You can. Yeah, you totally can. Now, get out of here. Stop hanging around outside. It's dark and full of terrors out here. Right, once everyone's back inside, we'll lock that door and then we can start digging them in across the top. Our base is now sealed up. There is no way for them to get out to this side. All of them are back inside. So now anytime they leave this rectangle right here, they will have to wear an atmosuit. Oh, and we still haven't filled in our liquid lock because we don't really need it, to be honest, just yet. Unless some nasty gases show up or we get germ problems or something, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It just seems like it's not worthwhile at the moment. Let's start breaking in here, and we're probably going to break in from the bottom as well. Once they get in across there, this is not perfect. It's going to increase the commute times a bit, and they're not exactly short already. So I'm just not sure where exactly we can put the farms. The problem you see is we've sort of dedicated this area to the industrial brick, and this is all a raging inferno. This area here is full of volcanoes, and another raging inferno, and more volcanoes. So And this place here is sort of full of a bunch of vents. So realistically, the best place to do the farming is over here, which is pretty far away. But I think it's still worthwhile to build the farms over here. Now, let's do a couple of cleanup bits first, though. Well, the first thing I'd like to do is get rid of those long commutes, if at all possible, but I don't think that's going to happen. Building entombment, that is a quick one to fix. There's actually a hot tub over here made out of copper ore. We might deconstruct that later. I think we get wood out of that. I don't have any wood yet because we haven't encountered any trees. And down here, I want to go and finish looking for that natural gas vent. That would be really nice for the food we're about to make. Though, you know what? Taking care of all of the mess in here might be a problem. Let's just simplify our germ dealing with process and core out this entire area. We're gonna want the water. We're gonna want the slime. We're gonna want all this. In fact, we're gonna wall in that steam vent. We don't want the steam vent. We have, well, a saltwater geyser here and a second saltwater geyser up here. So 2 saltwater geysers. That's more than enough. Though I think we will we'll analyze it before we seal it up. We get some data points out of it. Give me a quick minute to core this area out. This is a slightly uncommon problem that happens occasionally. You get these black tiles that are unknown. It's when sometimes when you're trying to explore an area and it doesn't quite explore them, and then it won't let you build over them or get duplicants into the spot. And if they're not occupied, you can drop things in. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to build a door. Thing is, we can't actually build on these things directly, but we can build a door below them, which activates the tile somehow. I don't know. It's magic, okay? It's duplicate magic. And there they go, finally. And I think once that's done, yeah, we can deconstruct this and we can get a duplicant to pass through that section. I would like you to move to... This might be more awkward than I thought. Fine, fine. We'll just have to deconstruct these anyway. And then we'll just put a ladder down nearby. Finally, we forced them to move into the tile and it eventually revealed them. Just one of those minor things you'll come across. You can go through several games without encountering them, but when you do, it's kind of frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. Alright, next, let's grab all of this water that's in here and pour it into this pool. We'll have to filter it and send it up to our main water pools. Oh, actually, that clean water we'll have to figure out. You know, worry about it in a minute. Let's finish coring this out and seal up that natural gas geyser. We're going to want to feed that into our cooking facilities. You know, this was not building for a while. I was curious, why? Why was this not building? So tracing it back, I realized there was a problem here. All the atmosuits are out of oxygen. Oops. So what happened to the oxygen flows, which I traced back to here, and there was no oxygen pumping. Turns out, when I was doing a minor renovation, I was trying to change the liquid pipe from going this direction to across the top of the base. But then I sort of disconnected this pipe, but didn't reconnect the other one, and the water stopped flowing, and eventually the liquid tank ran out. But it never warned me. It was supposed to give me a notification. I don't know how I missed it. This was supposed to pop off and go, hey, there's no liquids in there, but no, I didn't get the notification, and our base is pretty much, like, look at this, we were down to about 250 grams in some places. Duplicants were not having good times. Well, I've disconnected the atmosuits for now. We're going to let the oxygen build back up again. Well, I want the base to be fully oxygenated before we start dumping into the suits. That means anything outside the base is pretty much off limits. Okay, there's one suit with a little bit of oxygen left. Where are you going? What are you even doing? You went to pick up some lead. Well, that's wonderful. We've also activated one of the old oxygen diffusers. In fact, I think maybe a couple more oxygen diffusers can go down just to speed things along a bit. Oh, God, look at the lack of oxygen around the place. That is bad. Well, we'll stick another one there. In fact, we'll stick 2 right there. It's just, this was a mistake. This should not have happened. Ooh. Okay, we'll fill this place up. We'll get the oxygen flowing again. Everything will be fine. It's just give me a couple of minutes. Oh yeah, and this is why we put the desalinator and the water sieve inside your base. Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to service them with the atmosuits in, out of service. We'd have to, we'll disable the atmosuit docks. There's ways around it probably. But depending on where you put this, if you put it in places where your duplicants can't access it without an atmosuit, it could cause huge problems. Because that provides all the water, and then if we're not able to service it, then that means we won't be able to get the oxygen, which means we couldn't get the atmosuits back up and running. Yeah, just Always try and plan for things going wrong. That is sort of the number one rule of Oxygen Not Included. Don't make your system perfect. Make your system so that if it does break, you can fix it without having to rely on the system that's already broken, if you know what I mean. Never mind. Alright. I've plugged back in the atmosuit docks now for oxygen production, so... yeah, it's going to be a while, though. Thing is, we have 14 duplicants, and... actually, no. I'm going to leave on the oxygen diffusers. That'll take the pressure off the electrolyzers, which means there'll be more oxygen to put into the suits, because less of it will be fed into the duplicants. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of algae just lying around the place. Oh, unless it's slime lung infected algae. Is it? No, we're probably fine. Let's just not worry about that. Let's just not worry about that at all. I should probably point out, when it comes to algae, it can actually get infected with slime lung germs. Usually because it's right beside slime when you find it in the slime biomes, or the swamp biomes. So if you feed that slime lung infected algae into an oxygen diffuser, it will spit out oxygen that has slime lung germs in it. But we've got such a saturation of floral scents everywhere, those germs seem to be overriding everything, and we haven't had any slime lung outbreaks. I know we're playing on, the disease variant we're playing on is like the highest levels, but I think we should be fine, because we're pretty much annihilating every single germ the moment it happens. We'll probably be okay. Probably. It's going to take a few... well, it's going to probably take 4 or 5 cycles until the oxygen situation evens out, so we're going to have a slight pause on this for a minute. Well, that's looking better. We do have to get all this water to a better tank, and I would like to strip this place out, but first, natural gas geyser. We eventually found it. There's also another vent over here we can tap into, and a whole bunch of coal we no longer need. What's killing me, though, is this fossil thing. We need to access all 4 of them, and this 4th one appears to be surrounded by magma, and more magma. So that's going to be a problem. I'll dig in more to the right, but I really doubt there's going to be some sort of passage through here we can get to. Or maybe there is. I'm not really holding out a lot of hope. Right, over here. This natural gas vent. We need to get in there, and I'd prefer not to let all that natural gas out or contaminate it with other stuff. Oh, there's polluted oxygen in there as well. Huh. Nope, not going to worry about it. We are going to put in a ladder like that, and we can build diagonally there, but we have put in a blob of naphtha right there. Perfect little mini liquid lock. So we should be just able to dig in here and sort of come at this from a side angle. So, you know what? Let's maybe wall this in a bit better. This was a fairly straightforward setup. The only problem with natural gas geysers early on is the 150C it comes out at. Gold amalgam gas pumps only go up to 125C, which means you're going to have problems if you're trying to tackle it before you've got access to steel. Once you've got steel, these are basically free energy. Though usually by the time you've got steel, you don't care so much, and it's just they're intermittent. So for me, I never found the appeal of natural gas geysers. To me, they were just they came along just a little bit too late for me to be bothered. I was normally more concerned about getting other more sustainable sources up. Otherwise, if you want to use this correctly, you have to figure out how much is... ooh, actually, Did I analyze this? Oh my god, I'm a moron. Okay, you know what? We'll go back in and analyze it, but then once that's done, we're going to start pumping this stuff. It is dormant at the moment, and I doubt it's going to come back online anytime soon. Oh, and every time we analyze one of these, we get ourselves some data banks. Where is it? They are data banks. We've got 57 units of them already, and that's been found in multiple ways. One of them is you can go to, say, the Dream Analyzing Building, and no, we can't activate that. Maybe there's this one. No. Hold on a moment. There's a lab desk over here. If we inspect it, we get this data bank out of it. So going around to all of the items and trying to see if they can drop anything out of them, usually a good idea. Alright, let's get back in here real quick and give this a quick analysis, and then we can start pumping the gas out. Very simple. All we're going to do is we're going to set it to about, say, half a kilo. Well, if there's half a kilo of pressure of gas in here or more, gas pump will turn on. If there's less, it'll turn off. And that's it. That's literally all you have to do. A little bit of gas storage is usually a good call to tide you over in between the downtime periods. Okay, with that done, it's time to start moving all this polluted water out of here. We want to move this up to our main storage tank. Our main storage tank is all the way up there, so quick piping run. This stuff is 53C. Ooh, 53 to 40C. Almost feel like running it through the ice biome. No, we'll dump it up there. We don't really care. This is outside of our base, and we don't need this for crops, so if it gets a little bit warm, well, we can always cool it down later if we need to. Giant pipe building spree, I suppose? Due to some minor accidents, this thing contains salt water and clean water, so we're just going to filter all of this, filter out only the polluted water, take all of that polluted water, and we're going to pipe it all the way up here, all the way across here, all the way over here, and dump it into our polluted water tank over here. Oh, and I'll make that water tank just a little bit bigger. What is it with my addiction and water tanks? I'm already just trying to figure out where I'm going to put my clean water tank, because this one's too small, and I'm thinking, you know, like, I was just looking, could I just stick it to the corner of the map and maybe make it, you know, what, 10 stories tall? I'm beginning to notice a pattern in all my playthroughs, especially when I look back at some of the older ones. I have this tendency to make giant water tanks. None of that liquid compression stuff. That's for the weak. You want to make a giant water tank just to show how much ridiculous amounts of water you've got available to make oxygen and food out of. Alright, you guys nearly finished? I should probably set that up to polluted water only. Okay, off you go. Anything that's not polluted water will get dumped into these reservoirs. What are you doing over there? We'll probably fit most of it. If not, I can add in an extra reservoir here and there. Alright, that's the entire slime biome gone. That's this hooked up, but I think yep, that is finished. We shall wall that sucker in, and we are going to set you to 500 grams. That starts getting pumped across there, and we're going to put in insulated pipes. Reason being, the stuff's, you know, pretty toasty. Well, for now it's not that toasty, but it'll be coming out at 150C. We're going to have to somehow get that all the way, well, all the way up here, and then pump that into our base without cooking anything. So we're going to have to start switching everything here to insulated piping, and maybe put it somewhere that's not so horrifically messy. So I'm not sure I can manage that. Well, looking at this classic cummerbund, I think we have the perfect duplicant to wear it. That is a sign of refinement. Someone who's been around a while, you know, knows what they're up to. And I know the perfect candidate for that. Richard here is 3,404 cycles old. They even got that sort of Jedi scruffy-looking vibe going on. I'm thinking that's perfect. They should definitely be wearing the classic cummerbund. I mean, it suits their age, their gravitas, and that magnificent beard they're sporting. So, yeah, let's assign that out and see how they look in their new gear. Now, the thing is, they're still wearing their old clothes underneath that, so it's not quite as awesome as you would like, but that should definitely increase their decor capacity. Actually, last cycle's decor was 28. How are people getting decent decor? Oh, I haven't let them out of the base yet, have I? Oops. Yeah, I let them out of the training area, but I never let them outside of the base. In fact, everyone's allowed outside of the base, except for the cook. Sorry, Trevor. Now, where was I? Oh yes, we were organizing our gas piping, which is still going to be a mess when we're finished. A very stupid and less elegant solution than it should be, but we're going to have these 3 gas reservoirs here. They're going to store up our natural gas for the gas ranges. This stores them out of the way, and it does allow us to get rid of all of this mess of piping over here and all of that. In fact, we can trim this out of there, and this should all flow back into that tank. Then we've got this gas pipe coming insulated all the way from down here, all the way across, and over to here. And done. We now should have a, well, I wouldn't say sustainable for now. That gas vent is not going to be online for a while. In fact, when is it next coming online? You are next available 28 cycles from now. That's not terrible, actually. Okay, it's inactive for 50 cycles out of every, well, active for 70, and then inactive for about 50. That's not great, not terrible. Okay, then. That is cooking sorted. Well, it's the power needed to run the cooker sorted. And we can start deconstructing all of this gunk in here and freeing up the whole area so it looks less convoluted. That looks way better. Much cleaner. Now, where were we? Farming. That was it. You're going to actually put together farming. We want sleet wheat. We want these water weeds. And we also want our mushrooms. Thinking over here is probably going to be our best bet. Damn it, I probably shouldn't have put that water tank there. I always keep rolling myself in. Well, first, plastic ladders. Should have done this ages ago. Plastic ladders everywhere, just to make sure that we can move that little bit faster. Saves us a bunch of time. It's a 25% movement speed bonus, and considering the distances we're going to need to build farms over here, I think... Ooh, and I might want to put in a plastic ladder in this section. I'm thinking we try and squeeze all of our food into this section. Say in here. So we're going to want to take this section here and make it nothing but food, but we have to fit all the food in there. Well, that's the theory. We'll probably, you know, skimp a little bit or maybe twist the plan just a tad, but I want to try and grab all of our food and the cooling for the food and all the management of all the processes that go into making that food just into this section. I mean, it's a challenge. The plan here is we want to start growing all of the foods necessary to get, well, all of the foods we want. And the main foods we're looking for are mushroom wraps, which means we're going to need lettuce. Also, that fried mushroom would be nice. I'd like to move all the mushroom from here to somewhere else, preferably. The surf and turf we're kind of limited on. I don't want to go down the infinite Pacu ranching thing. That just seems a little bit too far, but I am going to use the wild fish combined with our barbecue that we're creating to make surf and turf. That also gives us the seafood resistance, or the radiation resistance, and the frost burgers as well is going to require lettuce and sleet wheat, which is why we want to make a sort of a temperature-controlled region down here. So we're going to make one temperature-controlled box, and then we're going to feed 3 separate boxes off of that. That way we could run 3 separate crops in a sort of a, well, stacked on top of here. I don't know how high it's going to go, but give me a minute here while I put in at least the box, or the guts of it. This weird-looking thing is battery storage, basically. This is where we're going to bank some chill. This aquatune over here is going to run some polluted water through it, and it's going to cool down this area to about -5, -6, something along those lines. And then we're going to use that as chill to cool down whatever kind of waters we want to run our crops. So if we want to run sleet wheat, we can tap into one of these 3 areas here. It'll become clearer as we go along. But this is basically the guts of it, is making a storage area that you can draw multiple things off of. That will allow us to run multiple crops off one battery. In theory. Let me try and finish this off, though. I think we're going to have to vacuum out a few areas here and there. This next bit was me just designing this badly. We want to seal in this area here. So we're going to have that sealed up as a heat transfer area. So when this mechanized airlock engages, it closes the door, and that closed door allows heat to transfer from one side to the other, or temperature to move. However, we want to make sure that there's no gases where these 2 temperature shift plates are. These temperature shift plates are going to help, well, rapidly inject the heat on this side and suck it out the other side, so it should give faster temperature transfer. Not entirely necessary, we could go with slower, but I want to keep, a fine level of control on this, and I think that helps us in that way. So for now, though, what we're going to do is vacuum out this entire area. Then when we're finished, we can close these doors. And once those doors are closed, this area is safe to vacuum and we can sort of finish it off. You'll see shortly we should be actually getting down to low levels. We got MGs down there. MGs. Yeah, MGs. Yeah, we'll be through this in no time at all. There we go. Finished already. This entire area is now a vacuum. And the only area we really needed to keep a vacuum was these 2 tiles here. So we should be able to go below, copy that across. And now those doors close, sealing in this area. So we should be able to break back in here and seal this whole area up again. Just like that. Though we'll probably want to turn off the gas pumps. We don't need them pumping anything else out of here. Waste of power. Not that we really care about power right now. While this is going on, we're going to start chilling this water down. We need this to hit about -2 or 3 to actually have a reasonable chance of doing what we want. And you have to go. Yeah, we've filled this link up already from the polluted water we were pulling in from over there. Power-wise, we can hook that up now. And what do we set this to? Set this to 6. No, we're going to set you to -5. So the temperature in here is above -5. It's going to keep going. So all that's happening now is this polluted water comes in here at 26, comes out at 12, rotates all the way back around, and it's slowly but surely dragging the temperature in this chill box slowly down. Alright, anyone else want to put in those aluminum tiles? Once those aluminum tiles are in, we're going to disengage the doors. We don't want them doing anything just yet. Yeah. Same for you, please. And, yep, done. So, now we just got to do a few renovations and put in a second storage area on the side. And this is our triple temperature selector box where we can use this one cold section here to provide cooling to, well, 3 separate areas, all via these automated doors. Now, right now, this door is engaged and it's trying to get the temperature in here down to 2C. However, that's going to be a bit of a problem considering the temperature in here has not dropped to, well, below 0 degrees yet. It will get there eventually. I think we're going to end up going to down as a bit as low as -6 on this, but we're going to give that a bit more time. It's going to take a while before we've banked up enough chill, and I just want to make sure that we have everything set up in the meantime. So up here, we're going to put in, well, our sleet wheat farm. We're going to want a sleet wheat farm for our burgers. The thing is, we don't need a lot of it. We only need about 10 sleet wheat according to the math I've done, so 10 sleet wheat should provide enough for burgers for about 20 duplicants. And I figure we do enough lettuce to do 20 duplicants as well, and just, generally have a decent all-round amount of each one. Not enough to feed everyone on them. I want to make sure we have to actually mix our foods, but not so much that we still have, well, not so little that we don't have a little bit of wiggle room. I wouldn't do 10 of each one. That's ridiculous. Got to do 20 of each. Doesn't mean our food's going to get more and more out of control as time goes by, but I'm generally okay with that. So, we're going to go up here, and we're going to have to put in an airlock to make sure, and a vacuum-sealed airlock so that no temperature can get in and out. Let me work on this for a minute. Very traditional plan. We're going to use a couple of blobs of naphtha, one here, one here. Then we're going to pump out all the gases in the middle. This will make a vacuum seal, meaning this entire area will be separated from the outside temperatures. That means we can crank the temperature in here way down and grow ourselves some sleet wheat without issues, in theory. Alright, you, and then on the next level. Yeah, next level we're going to probably put in the... Yep, that'll be where the lettuce goes. We're going to arrange that. You see, the thing is we have to actually flood the lettuce. The lettuce needs to be under a tiny layer of water, so we're going to have to be a little bit more cautious about our blob locks. I know this looks very odd, but it's actually fairly straightforward. The hard part, though, is going to be feeding in the salt water. In here, we're going to want to put in our waterweed. Now, waterweed requires bleachstone and salt water to live. Salt water we've got, however, it needs to be between 22 to 65 C. And the water we have is 80. Yeah, it's a little bit warm. Actually, 90 in spots. But that's fine. That's fine. What we're going to do is get this insulated pipe that's over here, and we're going to run that all the way over there. We're going to have to do a little bit of creative piping, but I think we can get it over. Actually, we're probably going to end up having to move our desalinator in base, but if we move our desalinator, we can bring in the salt water by this side, then it goes to the desalinator, then it goes into the electrolyzer. That way we've got like a little bit of room to play with. Give me 2 minutes here. We have the piping installed, and this is going to be a very, very messy startup, I'm pretty sure. First off, we're going to sever the input lines for our oxygen production, which is always a statement you never want to make. Yes, okay, so soon they will be redundant and no longer necessary. Once that happens, you want to start rerouting the oxygen. Well, we want to reroute the chilled oxygen over here to cool down our new location for the desalinator and the water sieve. So for that, we're going to hook this up over here, this up over here, and then we're going to sever this section. Right, now all the oxygen is going to come down here, pull it around this section, cool that down, and then go right back onto this grid. That should be grand, and then we can sever this section over here. And finished. Perfect. So that section there is done. Now we just got to make sure the water gets to over here. To do that, we're going to come down to this section. You click that up. In fact, let's just leave this severed for a moment. I want to clear out this back line here so that we can empty that pipe out. That should come across here. Oh wait, not hooked up. Then it should come across here. Then it's going to go all the way up and into the desalinator, at which point it'll get fed on there. That is the theory. And then in there it starts moving. One thing we're also going to want to do, though, is we're going to want to fill up this area here. This is where those lettuces are going to get grown, so we're going to need to pump in the salt water. However, that salt water needs to be temperature regulated. We don't want that salt water going in there at 80 degrees or it'll stifle everything. It needs to be 60 degrees or lower. Is it 65? Whatever. We'll go with about 60, let's say. So that means we need this to go in there. So salt water will come along, get siphoned in here, and then start rotating through this section. Down here, this is set to 60°, so all the salt water that comes through here will get temperature controlled via these aluminum pipes. And actually, that will start to up shortly, right about now. Well, that's going to confuse things, isn't it? Damn it. So, we need to put in a bridge right there to provide flow. Perfect. And now we have this whole section fully done. So, all the salt water that can cross that will. Anything that can't should continue on. Can continue on. Why are you not moving on? We don't have... 1 second. There we go. That should force it. It was just there needs to be a green output pushing this forward, and there was no green output. The nearest green output was down here, but that wasn't linked. It was, see, this strip of pipe has no outputs on it, so that's why it wasn't moving. Now, all the excess salt water that can't get in here will get sent on right past and into the desalinator. But let's have a quick stop down here at this section. See, all the water as it passes through here gets temperature controlled to 60°C, or close enough. We'll probably chuck this down to, say, 55. So it'll go down to 55 degrees. If it's too warm in here, it sucks chill from this side. I know that technically there's no such thing as chill. There's either energy or no energy. Chill is usually just a lack of energy. Heat is more energy. But we're just going to refer to chill as, yeah, we can move it about the place. Anyway, this drags temperature across here. The temperature shift plate is engaged with this tile. This tile touches that temperature shift plate, which is touching this door. This door touches that temperature shift plate, which is touching the aluminum tile. Theoretically, we could have just gotten away with one door with the metal tiles on the other side. It's just, it's a bit slow and the temperature transfer is not too accurate. This way, we've gotten it down to pretty close. The salt water is actually down to 54. Yeah, it's like about that. It maybe dips a little bit lower than I'd like, but nice. That should be just about accurate enough for us to temperature control this room. 58, 59, 60. Oh yeah, it's getting down into actual livable temperatures there. And by livable, I mean livable for the crops. The crops will be grand, and that'll just keep rotating through, and it won't interfere with this, which is going up to feed into our oxygen production, which is currently flat out. Perfect. But we also need to do the sleet wheat. This section is going to be where we plant all the sleet wheat, and the sleet wheat needs to be done to a different temperature. So this section here is set to 2°C. We might have to adjust that a bit depending. And we need clean water for that, so thank you. This clean water will come down here and get fed onto this section, which then gets rotated around. Let's hope there's no weird jarring thing where it tries to go backwards. Ah, damn it, we might have to put this up. That might have to go there. Well, that's not good. It's all sort of confused and all over the place. A bit of repiping later, and this glorious mess is what we ended up with. This should mean water comes on, gets dumped onto this line. Line will rotate through, and it should get chilled down. Oh, wow, that's hot water. That is 80-degree water. Well, let's hope our temperature control setup is up to the task of managing this much heat. You're going fine. Yeah. Give it a minute. In fact, this is going to take several minutes to drag the temperature down. You can see that the oxygen in the room is actually way hotter up here, and where it's touching these hydroponic tiles, you're ending up with a lot of chill. Oh, one thing people like to try and do is meter out the amount of water going to each hydroponic farm tile, so that you can technically use the plants to destroy heat, as in the plants are eating water that's hotter than what they could normally manage in temperature-wise. The problem with that is you have to use farm tiles that are very non-conductive. See, these things hold liquid in them. So this thing holds 5 kilos of water. So if you try to just run them directly through, all your things are going to end up with 5 kilos of water in them, overheat, plants stifle. Or you can try splintering it out so that each one gets just enough water, but you have to run a pipe to each one individually. And generally, they're still going to exchange some heat, which results in them stifling. And then you have to run second temperature loops to cool down. It gets really complicated. I tried it one time on the mini base playthrough, and it was like, no, just no. You're far better just brute forcing the cooling. So this should cool down the sleet wheat farm. It's going to take a few minutes to actually get up to speed. I might want to bring this down to 1 degree. 1 degree... yeah, that should be reasonably decent. So I'll pull the temperature from the opposite side over here. And one thing that people may be wondering about is, what about this water over here? What if this water gets too cold? This can technically... the saltwater plants over here can go down to about 20°C, maybe it's 25. However, what we've done is we've strapped this box here to right beside the steam turbine. So it has to eat all the heat of the steam turbine. So if the salt water coming in gets a bit chill, not too chill, but a little bit too cold, we can use the heat from the steam turbine to heat up the water. Because this is eating technically all the heat from that, which is then getting its cooling from down here. This just prevented us having to run a bunch of pipes. The salt water we're using to cool or to make our crops grow is also being used to cool down the steam turbine. It's just a nice little symbiotic relationship. Otherwise, I was going to have to stick in a tepodizer. Thing is, they're huge, they take up a load of space, and it would make the whole thing look a lot uglier. We got this thing to be into a nice, clean rectangle. Well, okay, except for maybe those tiles down there. They're a little bit excess. But for a reasonably fast, easygoing design, I think this is a pretty nice way. And we also have this third icebox over here, which we can use for some other crop we can chuck on top. So, we only need about 10, I think, sleet wheat in here, and we need about 20 lettuce. Give me a second to put them in, and we're going to put in some automation so that there can be, they can be or not harvested. They can be fed or get their resources fed to them without much interference from duplicants. There, I think that works. What we've got here is 2 storage bins full of bleach stone. Now, this is only temporary. At some point, we'll have the bleach stone fed in by conveyor receptacle just to make things more convenient. Though, that might be a little bit difficult with bleach stone, to be honest. That stuff can off-gas if we're not careful. Then we've got a storage bin down here full of dirt. That we care less about. But let's start filling this up and seeing how it works out. Waterweed seeds, 22 to 65 degrees. Actually, that is quite a good range. You, just all the way through there, all the way through there. That should be plenty to get us started. Now, when it comes to sleet wheat, we're a little bit shy on sleet wheat right now. But that's okay. All we have to do is turn off sleet wheat production for just a little bit. No more pepper bread. Perfection, and we want you to pick that stuff up and leave it in the accessible section. By setting this to allow sleet wheat grain in it, it'll take any sleet wheat grain that ends up in there and dump it across to this section where where duplicants can pull it out. Oh. And you're allowing manual use. We don't want you putting sleet wheat grains in there anymore. In fact, we want you putting sleet wheat grains in there. Yeah, it's a little bit complicated rejigging all of this, but it's fine. We just need to get the sleet wheat planted. Once it's done, we don't have to care. And there is a few locations over here that we have left untapped, so that we could have access to like 54 sleet wheat grains there. There's another 54 there. There's another 54. They're all deep frozen, so we don't have to worry about them. Though I think it might be time to start breaking into this location. Yeah, it's getting a bit problematic in there. I think, yeah, the temperatures are starting to go down. How are you looking? You're still deep frozen. We need to go in and grab these, the mutated ones. Those mutated seeds are, well, there's 18 of them, and I really hope they're good mutants. Give me 1 second here to figure out how we're going to get it in here without causing a meltdown. Well, that gains us access to enough sleet wheat to start planting, and at the same time it's going to gain us access to these deep frozen sleet wheat unidentified subspecies. So we have put together a quick botanical analyzer. We will analyze the sleet wheat grains, and we're going to see what type of mutation we've gotten. Oh, over here is all of our wild animals. Any Drecos, anything like that we find under the map, we swept up their eggs, and we dumped them off this automatic dispenser. So, yeah, also anything that got printed out of the pod, any eggs for hatches or stuff like that, which is why there is so much stuff on that tile. We then set up this thing. Any eggs that fall down here from, say, Drecos or Pips, they get picked up by this, dumped into this conveyor loader, which shunts them up to the top and right back onto this, just so they can't escape. This way they can't escape out of here, and we're happy. Then we have this autoloader here, which takes all the meat that drops and dumps it into this refrigerator, just so we can access that meat on that spot. Our duplicants can't reach this spot, which is the way we want it. Anyway, how are you doing, Jonas? Excellent. They're going to have results from that in a minute, and down here we have all of our sleet wheat planted. And all the sleet wheat gets taken care of by these auto sweepers. They plant the crop as necessary, and would you look at that? Even though they're right adjacent to each other, this one's 3.5 degrees. What's the temperature of that water? 3.3. Ooh. Yeah, like you can see it's coming in at 5.9, leaves at 3. That's good enough. I don't want to... We could trim this down more and make it more temperature accurate and do a bunch of other stuff, but this is good enough for what it does and still allows us a pretty impressive level of control. Like, we've got the red hot lettuce here growing right beside the icy cold sleet wheat, and we could chuck whatever we want on top, or we could extend them out or not as we see fit. This should deal with all of our needs up until we hit 30 duplicants. Now, we're still going to need more oxygen, though, before we get around to that point. Ooh, as well as that, we left in space. You see, these places are actually classified as rooms, so what we can do at any point is go in, grab farm stations, and we can check down a farm station there, and we can put another one there. We'll have to move around an auto sweeper in the this place down here, but we should be able to double up the production here by putting them in. Prefer to see if we can get some mutated ones first. Which reminds me, how are we doing on the mutated ones? Wild-ish. It takes 90% less resources to grow them, but it takes them 3.5 times as long to grow. Not great. Not great at all, I don't think. What we're really looking for is Exuberant. Exuberant is the best mutated seed type, but unfortunately we didn't roll it up. Odds are pretty slim. Then one last thing, just to make this thing completely finished. We're going to have all the food auto-loaded up and sent over to our refrigeration area. Just got to figure out how we're going to wire that. without actually destroying... I accidentally destroyed one of our plants in here already by running a wire through it. This happens to me all the time. It's why I put in 5 plants instead of 4, just to remind me not to do it again and destroy our nature reserve. Alright, let me see. Done! We now have all of the food heading over that direction. Well, when it's harvested. So anytime the seeds are harvested or anytime the water weed is harvested, all of it will get automatically loaded up and shipped across to cold storage. Just cuts down on duplicant labour a little bit. Not entirely essential, but why not? Oh, and down here, our natural gas geyser has started emitting again. So 496 grams a second means we should never have it overpressurized, because the gas pumps will take it out at 500 grams a second. Which, actually, if we check here... Yeah, 500 grams, 500 grams. So long as it's just an overpressurized, we're fine. Though I am rerouting the gas piping. I'm going to put the gas piping down here and across, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to want to enlarge that water tank again. Mainly because I'm addicted to having large water tanks, and I think there's plenty of space down here where we can, you know, fill all that place up with lots of salt water. And we don't really want these gas pipes in the way when we do that. Are you finished? Excellent. Yeah, once that's reversed, we'll snip it off and reconnect it back up again. Well, that's just perfect timing. We've now got all of the necessary gas we're going to need to run the cooking. At the same time, I've queued up the frost buns, and we can start now making frost burgers. Though we're a little bit short on lettuce, but yeah, that'll be along in a bit. And combined with that, we can throw out mushroom wraps, though I might want to deprioritize those for a bit. It's not like we really need them. I think, yeah, we got 1.4 million calories of barbecue. 775,000 calories of fried mushrooms, 409,000 calories of surf and turf. So I think, and 298,000 calories of mushroom wrap. I think we will be good for a little bit. We can turn off the mushroom wraps, save up the lettuce, and dump that all into making as many frost burgers as possible. Alright, should probably tap into a whole bunch of those seeds that are lying around the place, just to sort of turbocharge that. We have unfortunately gone a little bit over the 30 minutes again. Okay, but we've definitely got food sorted for the long term. This should sort us for 30 duplicants worth of food, so long as we have the bleachstone, dirt, and slime to keep them all producing. As well as that, we can start cranking on some fertilizer if we want to stretch that even further. Oh, and I've decided to plug in the anti-entropy nullifier here. Just add a bit of chili. These were originally introduced before, well, really, really early on in the development of the game to add cooling to stop people from having heat death. They're not really that great. It's just that aquatuners do such a good job that these sort of became redundant. They're more of a niche thing you can throw in now and then, just for a little bit of old time's sake. I wouldn't really strongly recommend them for any real builds, though some people have made sour gas boilers with them, which is kind of fun. I think next up we're going to double our oxygen supply, or maybe just throw in a Rodriguez. I'm almost tempted to just throw in a Rodriguez and be done with it. These things are nice, but they're not really... I don't know. They just don't... I feel more nervous with these ones because of the liquids. I know I shouldn't. But I do feel that if this ever broke, it'd be almost impossible to repair, namely because of the enormous amounts of hydrogen that's compiled in there, or compressed. So, what do you think? Rodriguez, or another soggy sopom, or Hydra, whatever these things are called? Yeah, I'll think about it on the side. Couple of things I forgot to mention on the side. Pincher rows, or poke shells, they all end up over here. We just have an automatic dispenser set up. However, it grabs all of them and just dumps all the eggs here. This whips out all of the shells and eggshells they drop so that we can smash them up into lime. We also found another volcano down here, a nice one, a cobalt volcano. Very conductive material. We're going to have to tame that sooner rather than later. And finally, there's this thing down here. This petrified fossil we have to access, one of the 4. Yeah, we're going to have to get by a whole bunch of really boiling hot rock. There's no way in there that doesn't involve a little bit of magma dipping. I'm thinking vacuum tunnel through here might be the smartest plan so we can get in there without having to do too much effort. Otherwise, we're going to have to solidify stuff. No, too much effort. Way too much. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed. Good luck.